I had some more thoughts about the timeline of things for this Steddie Buckingham 90s sitcom thing, and I'm not going to write anything with it, so I'm just going to kind of put it here. So I decided what works best is for it to be sort of a When Harry Met Sally thing that evolves into like a Will and Grace scenario. And what I mean by that is I kind of picture like post Hawkins, everyone kind of like separates a little bit, like everyone stays close, but like maybe especially like Eddie and Steve like really go off and do their own thing and kind of figure their shit out a little bit. But then over time, they run into each other a few times, and that would kind of provide like the vignettes that you get in When Harry Met Sally as they like re-encounter each other and relearn each other and have these like first impressions and new impressions over time. And then eventually it would evolve for Steve and Eddie and Chrissy and Robin into a sort of Will and Grace scenario of more like constant closeness and like intertwined lives. And like, I don't know, I just think that Steve makes like a really wonderful Sally with just sort of his like uptightness and kind of like hands on the hips babysitter is very Meg Ryan. And like, then what I would love to see for Steve is just a chance for him to break down and cry and just be like, I'm difficult, and like let him just kind of live that moment. But anyway, that all comes later. What I wanted to talk about here is one of the specific vignettes I picture as Eddie and Steve kind of re-encounter each other over the years. So what I picture is it's late one night. Steve is, has just gotten out of his night classes for hairdressing school, and he is going to the drugstore to pick up some more Farrah Fawcett spray. But as he's reaching for that last bottle on the shelf, another hand comes right at the same moment, and he's like, oh, fuck. And when he looks up, he's like, oh, it's fucking Munson. Oh, shit. Hi. And the two of them are just completely awkward and weird about it and just like both panic, pretend that that's not what they were doing and reaching for. And they just sort of are like, oh, hi, I thought I was in the wrong aisle. Oh, goodbye. And they like go their separate ways. But then I picture them just like continually running into each other like around the store, like as they are picking up like very similar grocery things. And I especially imagine them like running into each other in like the pain meds aisle as they're both reaching for shit to help with their chronic pain from the like matching wounds they have. And so by the time that Steve like sneaks back and gets the spray and like goes to check out, he's kind of like giggling and is like, oh, it's kind of fun to see him again. And then, as Steve is checking out, he reaches into his basket to hand the Farrah Fawcett spray to the cashier and realizes it's fucking gone because Eddie at some point snuck it out of his basket. And he looks up, and Eddie is just looking at him from outside with the shitty doom grin and the fucking receipt, and he just kind of gives him a little bit of the devil horns and like walks off. And it just sort of sets Steve like a little bit of a flutter, and he's just like, wow, there's that weird indigestion I get around Eddie. Funny that never went away. And yeah, then it just kind of evolves from there.